mind benders. You know, you're not necessarily where you are in life just because of the actions that you take, but mainly, even more so, the way you think. And every single success begins in the mind, and that's what we're gonna take the time to dissect today in regards to recruiting is how a builder thinks, not just in Primerica, not just in Primerica, but in religion, in sports, in music, in real estate. When you're building something, okay, you're going to have naysayers. You're going to have people that don't believe. You're going to have people that believe it's unrealistic, that what you're trying to accomplish. And, you know, we need to do a better job of armoring ourselves first and foremost on how to react to stuff like that, and then subsequently armoring our team, our people, right? It really went into my spirit last night when I was speaking to he's like family to me. I grew up with him and I recruited him recently. And you know, he was talking to me about the people around him, the negative Nellies, which I'll get into. I almost lost my cool, because sometimes it's the ones that are closest to us that are the most cynical towards what it is that we believe is possible, just because they don't believe it's possible, right? But how you react and how you move around or through these barriers of the mind will determine the results that you get. So you've got to be a shepherd of your own mind. In the good book, one of them at least, it says that the leader of of anything must be a shepherd to his or her people, followers. You know, obviously you've got to do a great job of being a great follower first, but we're developing leaders here. The world needs more leaders. And in the process of becoming a leader, you're going to have people that disagree with what your mantras are. When they inevitably come your way, you've got to, what does a shepherd do? A shepherd understands there will be wolves that prey on their sheep. And the first sheep that you must shepherd is your own mind against the wolves out there that want to see you fail. So the negative Nellies of this world are I think that's enemy number one of achieving, building something great. And it's not even like limitations, because there are no limitations. There's so much freaking opportunity in the United States alone, that there's zero limitations unless self-imposed, okay? Unless self-imposed, that could stop you from achieving something massive. This training right here is not for small-minded, small thinking people. This is for massive thinking people, right? But the negative Nellies are the ones that are going to be the biggest deterrent of massive success coming out of our hierarchy. When you tell somebody that you know somebody that made $63,000 in one night, they're most likely they're not going to believe you. Okay, and then when you tell them you're gonna do the same thing one day, for the most part, it's going to make them uncomfortable, because people just by human nature are accustomed to being in their comfort zone. Now, we know success lies outside of our comfort zones, but most people don't understand that. Especially if you never played sports growing up or had a coach like a violinist, right? That just beat you up, learning the violin or piano or something like that. Like, if you never had a hard coach, right? You never dealt with adversity while getting better, simultaneously while getting better, they're not going to understand it. That success lies outside of your comfort zone. So therefore, they're going to remain in their comfort zones mentally. Like, you just saying that you're going to do something like that, or that you'd like to do something like that, like bells start ringing or going off in their head, like woo, 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 Joey's talking crazy. $60,000 in a night. What is she thinking? That's what I make in a year. Okay, it's impossible. That's what you'll hear. Dude, that's impossible. And then they'll say something like, I don't know one person that's ever made something like that in my life. I never met no one like that. Right? So these are the types of things we have to diagnose at face value. Okay? Number one, you don't know anyone like that. What does that have to do with the fact that I do now know someone like that? As a matter of fact, I know someone that makes $60,000 a month, every month. Right? And automatically they were like, that's impossible. There's no way. Dude, if I tell them that Bruce makes $100,000 a month, their freaking heads will explode. Right? So when you're dealing with negative Nellies, you got to understand that these people are only dealing with what they've experienced in their minds up until this point in their life. It's called a frame of reference. And we all have it, and we all do it. A frame of reference. On a smaller scale, I used to hate avocados probably because I was just a kid. And we have weird tastes as a kid. And you grow out of them as you grow older. And avocado and guacamole was one of those for me. And then as I got older, I got a job, okay, for like 1 month, I think, or maybe 2. I think that's all I had in me to hold a job down before I got fired. 2 months at Uncle Julio's. And Uncle Julio's, makes the best guacamole out there, other than Chipotle. And I started putting, I had this little combination. I put guacamole in and this is the weirdest thing in the world, in a burrito. And it was just the burrito and guacamole, and boom, I just scarfed it down. And I should have put a name to that. But I love guacamole now. It's an acquired taste. And my frame of reference of guacamole told me that, like, don't touch it. Don't even pick it up because it tastes like garbage. Now, had I not given it another chance at a different place, maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was because it was my mom making the guacamole. Who knows? But if I didn't give guacamole the chance at Uncle Julio's, a new frame of reference, I would have never found one of the food loves of my life. And that's exactly what most people do with things in the realm of success. They never heard of someone that, like, if someone goes, yeah, I own 100 franchises, 100 of them, like they'll be like, yeah, right. Or maybe they'll be like, okay, but they can't believe it in their own heads that something like that is possible, because their frame of reference is so little that it doesn't allow it. So there's power in proximity. And the people that you surround yourself with are going to determine what you believe is possible. That is why I am so very careful on who I allow in my text messages, on who I allow in my, calling me, who I, look, Jeff, there you go. I can't do coleslaw. I'm still working on that, but I get your point, Jeff. There's people that, because they don't want you to that they're not succeeding, that they're not successful, even not even consciously, subconsciously will make remarks that could and most likely will seep into your subconscious mind that what you wish to achieve is not possible. And they'll say things like that. And this will be, by the way, all this talk comes from a book called Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. Chapter 5, like, to narrow it down. And I'm reading all I'm listening to is Grant Cardone. I could have been through 6-7 books by now, but I reread the 10X Rule 3-4 times in January, and I'm rereading the Be Obsessed or Be Average multiple times by Grant Cardone. Right? Now, if you haven't mastered your fundamentals in Primerica, you should be listening to a whole bunch of recruiting audios. Dante put me on at once. I remember Dante and I'm getting sidetracked, but in the office once, man, when I was 21, he pulled me to the side. He said, hey, you guys ever heard of the 5 reasons to buy life insurance by Ian Pruckner? Oh yeah, it's on POL. It's for, like, you pay $25 a month for it. I said, I'll go watch it. Right? I think maybe a week later passes by. Did you watch it, Josh? No. And there was no good reason on why I hadn't watched it, other than I procrastinated or BS'd. But it's that I felt bad telling Dante no after a week. And then I watched it like several times, and dude, that thing really improved my my talents. So I thank Dante for putting me onto that. And these are the types of things that you got to master on your fundamentals, right? But you should certainly make time to sharpen the saw, as it says in the 7th habit of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Sharpen your saw by reading books like the Grant Cardone books, right? But the whole entire chapter 5 of Be Obsessed or Be Average is on the different, like, negative Nellies and naysayers. Okay, haters, my bad. What's the difference between negative Nellies and haters? The only difference is the intent behind the words. That's the only difference. That's what Grant Cardone says. The intentions behind what they're saying. My mom told me, don't follow, she didn't say it like that, but don't go back to that office you met Samir in. Go to college. What? You kidding me? I made $6,000 last night. Tell me one college kid that, and I really did. Tell me one college kid that's my age right now that's making that in a night. No one. Okay? My mentor made $63,000 in a night this week. Okay? Tell me one professor that made that in a night. You can't, Mom. So, but look, she didn't tell me that from a place of, like bad intentions. That just made her a negative Nellie. Right? Now that's okay because she's changed since then. Like the song says, I made her a believer, right? Anyways, negative Nellies don't say things. It's because of their frame of reference. My mom grew up in the projects of the South Bronx, New York. Come on, man. Like that is, anyways, the negative frame of reference comes from a negative environment. It's understandable. But the haters, those are the ones that say, Josh, you ain't never gonna do this, you ain't never gonna do that. Thank you. I love it. That's fuel. I'll show you how to use doubt as fuel. Right? That's the difference. And you got to watch out on who you surround yourself with. There's power in proximity. So fears and doubts. Be a shepherd of your own mind, guys. You decide what you think about. How about that? No, thank God for that. Thank God God gave us the ability to decide what we think about. What is fear? There's two things that describe fear. Okay, by the way, what fear of what? Fear of leaving your job and not succeeding and growing broke. Fear of leaving your job and not being able to provide for your kids. Fear of making money, fear of making $5,000 in one night and not being able to repeat. Fear of not being able to present properly to a client, and so you don't even try. Fear of a recruit telling you that's a pyramid, that's one of those things, right? The fear of all of that. And what is fear? Well, in Remember the Titans, it says, what is pain? French bread. My coach told me to say that as I was training. Josh, what is pain? I said, French bread. He said, exactly. Right? So what is fear? Number one, it's a false expectation appearing real. That's what fear is. Split it in half. False expectations, meaning an expectation that is untrue, but it's appearing real in your mind. Therefore, number two, what is fear? Fear is not real. That's what fear is. Fear is a product of our imagination, causing us to believe things that do not at present or may not ever exist. Do you know who else does that? People in an insane asylum. They see things in their head that do not now or may not ever exist. People in the insane asylum do that. That's why in the movie, the Will Smith, by the way, I got that phrase from the Will Smith movie, and I just watched it so many times that I never forgot it. He said to his son, Jaden Smith, who's in the movie, I don't even remember the name of the movie, but he said, that's dang near insanity. Fear, right? So you have to quantify your fears in your mind. Are they worth believing? Are they worth allowing you to allowing the fears to consume you, preventing you from moving forward? Drown your doubts. Elevate your potential. Elevate. It wasn't The Pursuit of Happiness. It was another one. That was a dang good movie too. But drown your doubts. Like, doubt is a killer. And where does doubt come from, really? A child doesn't doubt. Children do. They don't doubt. They just do. So where does the doubt start? It doesn't start in our adolescence. It starts as we get older and we listen to people around us. Why? Because there's power in proximity. I do not think there's any limitations at this point in my life. Nothing. Why? Because I'm surrounding myself with Shaq, Samir, Bruce. That's what it is. That is who I listen to. And in conclusion, for me, because Shondell, man, woo, she's got some really good. Like we have this good cop, bad cop routine, and this is the bad cop routine right here. You know, identifying the bad guys. There you go. After Earth, that's what it is. Thank you, Brandon. Identifying the bad guys. And she's going to identify the good guy, which is you, by the way, and all the people from the friendly neighborhood that benefit from our friendly neighborhood Joey, or our friendly neighborhood Sheila, or our friendly neighborhood Trishana, making a decision to think big, drown her doubts, and build a massive business. Who benefits from that? She's going to go through that. But I want to conclude with thinking big and why we must think big. Okay? When you think big, you act big, meaning you do the 10x activities it takes to achieve something big. We got this. I never had a TV, okay, in my adult life until I recently moved into my new place, like a year ago, and it's pretty big. And I was like, I had been away from a television for so long, like the first 4 years in this business, no TV, like I didn't own one. And I moved into this place, and it was actually already furnished, the place. So, and it came with this TV, big TV. And I bypassed it, and it scared me. I was like, what is that? And it's really nice. And I played this, like we were on YouTube. It's a smart TV. We were looking at ridiculous homes last night, Lelix and I, because we saw it on our phones first. And I said, let me see what this looks like on the big screen. Dude, it was a $32 million home in Miami, a penthouse, all the way at the top, like the very top floor, 10,000 square feet, 6,000 square feet on the balcony alone. A movie theater. I mean, like, this is nuts. $1 million bathroom. This is like what I'm seeing with my eyes, but I'm sitting there I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I could. If only. No, I'm thinking, I'm getting excited because I know this is what's going to happen for me. That's mine. That belongs to me. They built that for me. That's thinking big. Why can't I have that? Why can't you have a dream home? Why can't you have a dream vehicle? Why can't you have $1 million saved? Why can't you go to where Samir is right now, if you guys saw? Oh, by the way, and not have any return dates because you have no boss to report back to. Why can't you give what Samir gave away last year? he doesn't like me sharing this, but it was more than most people made in a year. He gave that away to churches, charities. Why can't you? Why can't you? Somebody's got to do it. Hopefully that was helpful, guys. Change the way you think and definitely change who you surround yourself with, because if you don't, it will prevent your future success. Thanks so much, guys.
All right, guys.